Now, showtime. Hit the button.
I gotta turn my mic on.
No, George do it. George is in control.
It's time
You
for
can do it.
On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David and Gretchen will be talking about ISIS right here in Chicago, states that are passing anti-federal gun control laws, and wait until you hear what a federal appeals court did after deciding that a phone data collection is unlawful. And that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. Be sure to give us a call at 312-642-5600 or visit us on Facebook and like our page On Target Radio. And you can ask us questions on there.
Popular wisdom, meaning Facebook, Twitter, and all the other denizens of the internet, has decided that the May 3rd Garland, Texas attempted terrorism attack shall be considered the first in a developing war with Islamic extremists on American soil. Everyone knows this is hardly the first time in the U.S., but social media prefers to keep things simple, and it was, after all, a good first round. An outgunned off-duty cop, caught off guard by two fanatics wearing body armor and armed with semi-auto rifles, nailed them both before they even got near the venue they intended to invade. It just goes to show you what God, Glock, and a trained American shooter can do in 15 seconds. Social media's cup runneth over with pronouncements such as US 2, ISIS 0, let the games begin, and 2 down, 71 to go, referring to the recent ISIS warning there are 71 more dedicated and trained terrorists stationed around the country in 15 states. ISIS specifically named Virginia, Maryland, Illinois, Michigan, and California, all states known for an anti-gun bias. Oddly enough, the Democrats in the Illinois legislature are responding to this by proposing more gun control and fewer places where you can carry concealed. Right. These are the people that tell minorities Republicans wish them harm. No fools, these ISIS guys. Go for women, children, unarmed men, and now in the U.S., the states where citizens are less likely to be able to defend themselves. ISIS note to self, cross Texas off the list. The 71 are going to discover Americans are not the unarmed, fearful sheep ISIS has encountered in other countries. Americans are heavily armed with sophisticated equipment. Naval Marshal General Issaruko Yamamoto was quoted as having said after Pearl Harbor, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." Whether or not Yamamoto actually said that is debatable, but ISIS is going to discover exactly what Yamamoto discovered. Americans are a tough, ingenious lot that make a fearsome enemy. But there's going to be a terrible learning curve if social media is to be taken seriously. I have repeatedly seen comments suggesting the writer carries a concealed firearm and is itching for a fight. I love the sentiment. But in a more realistic mentality, I recognize those are probably going to be the first casualties. The problem is people don't know what they don't know. The cop wielding the .45 caliber Glock in Garland made all the right moves, but he still used up this month's quota of luck. We're no longer talking about conventional concealed carry situations. This fight that you're itching to have isn't going to be the same as when a guy walks into a liquor store with a gun while you're picking up a six-pack of beer. That 3-inch barrel, 6-round 380 semi tucked in your waistband isn't going to be much of a match for two guys in body armor carrying AK-47s, and that's assuming that they're not going to simply resort to suicide bombings. From where I sit, it's time to turn in that little 3-inch barrel hidden jewel with a 6-round capacity magazine and switch to a full-size pistol and a couple of magazines of hard-hitting defensive ammo. But here's the thing. While we've all been barbecuing in our backyards, ISIS fighters have been training in the tactics necessary to kill us. Unless you're a two-percenter who's been there and done that, Nothing in your life has prepared you for what is apparently about to begin. In the end, Americans will prevail. We have the home court advantage, the equipment, and the guts to do it. The question is whether or not you'll be around to enjoy the victory. My advice is to get some tactical training, then get some more, and, while you're at it, get even more. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
That felt a little personal. Are you going after me?
Why? The little part?
Yeah.
The little baby block?
Yeah.
Well, it's cute.
So you are. You're insulting Baby Glock.
Here's the thing. Realistically, if those two guys would have made it into that assembly hall with all those people carrying auto weapons, wearing body armor, it'd have been a slaughter. How effective? Any gun is better than no gun. I'm not going to argue that.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, how effective are you going to be with a 3-inch barrel gun and 5 shots when you got these nutballs?
Well, I have 7. Thank
Oh,
you
well,
very
that's
much.
it. Well, we're good then.
I have 6 plus 1.
It's not a problem. It's just, as you know, I've taken to carrying a full-size gun now.
Yeah, I'm 5'2". I don't really think I'm gonna be able to do that on a daily basis.
The gun weighs more than you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just, people have more confidence. Well, I want to be careful how I say this because I don't want to sound negative. Because people are fired up. They're stoked. Okay,
Yeah.
people are stoked, and that's the American thing. We're not quitters. Okay.
Exactly. We like victory.
Exactly.
And we're not ashamed of it.
Exactly. And so I don't want to sound negative about it. I really don't, because I don't feel negative about it. But what I'm saying is, we see students all the time. We had a class this weekend. A lot of people tend to be a little more confident in what they can do than typically reality will dictate, particularly in that kind of a situation.
Yes.
Okay, it's different one-on-one, some per, than 2 guys, with AKs. And I'm just saying, right in Joliet, in our backyard, they got 2 guys who had it all laid out. They're going to take out the armory.
Right.
I mean, it's not if they're going to come. It's not when. It's already happening. We've just been lucky so far.
Sure.
And I think, people need to be prepared. You're listening on Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. We're talking about ISIS coming in our backyard. What do you need to do to be prepared? Out at Aurora Sportsman's Club, we got 3-gun shoot. We got all that stuff going on, which is basic tactical type shooting. And you can train and prepare and have fun at the same time. And I think that's worth it. You shot 3-gun today, right?
Yes, I did. It was a great time. Yeah.
So you have a good time, but it's practical.
Yeah, it's a practice under a lot of stress, so it helps.
Exactly.
You're being timed, so it's different than just shooting a paper in the range.
Exactly. And I think that's what people tend not to quite understand. People have a tendency to confuse marksmanship with the ability to act under pressure in that sort of an environment. And you got to hit the target, but they're very different environments.
Right. Absolutely.
That's actually one thing I said this I think yesterday in class. It's very, very difficult to reproduce stress. It's very difficult to introduce that so that you can practice, how do I react under stress? How much do I shake? How bad am I? How bad is my marksmanship when I'm under stress and I'm shaking like a leaf? So, and it's really hard to artificially create that. So I think a competition is probably as close as you're going to get.
It puts the stress on.
To a stress situation. That's close as you're going to get to somebody actually attacking you.
We got a call from Mark out of Tinley. Mark has an interesting comment. Mark, do you think people should carry full size? Funny you should mention that, Mark. But I would make this comment, and we only have about a minute here, but I'd make this one comment. It's a good observation, but here's the catch. If the bad guy comes in and he sees you wearing a gun, guess who he's going to hit first? It's like being a cop, okay? I mean, it's
Or a
literally the
security
same
guard
thing.
at a bank.
Right.
They take out that person.
Exactly.
first.
If the bad guy knows you have a firearm, he's going to take you out for you're the first target he's going to hit. So, and I just said this in our class today. I want it to be a little surprise. I actually, if there's really an active shooter, I prefer to look like a sheep. I want him to think I'm easy prey. I don't want him to know that I'm ready and I got the gun. Because if he knows I have it, then I'm going to be a principal target. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're going to come back after some messages, and we'll have more on Target Radio. And we're talking about ISIS, ISIS right in our own backyard. So give us a call at 312-642-5600 and weigh in on your thoughts about what we should or shouldn't be doing to prepare for this insanity. And you're listening to On Target Radio.
At least with the full size, at least we're able to print in our state. Some states you can't even print.
Purposely trying to screw me up?
What?
So you're purposely trying to screw me up?
Yeah. This needs to be interesting. We got all kinds of different people doing different stuff. We actually didn't cover anything that we had on the sheet here, but that's fine.
We didn't?
Am I leading up next segment?
You also didn't say the name of the radio station. You just sort of let the whole thing fall off.
Yeah, I was like-
the first segment.
The answer.
I was going. There was something else going through my mind, and that's what came out. When we come back, the music will play, and you're going to do Gaylord Fine Indian.
Okay.
Okay, so when the music quits, you're on.
Cool. First,
He actually says, "Here's David and Gretchen with more."
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he does some talking, and then.
Oh yeah.
As soon as the announcer guy's done talking, then you can talk.
Well, we did. I guess we
We
did.
talked about ISIS and all that.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Pam Geller, but that's okay.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted to talk about Pam.
I was just going to mention it.
Yeah, that's, I agree with the whole thing of being prepared. I think it's great to have to go out and practice. Competitions help. So like people say
It puts you
too.
under pressure.
Right, the pressure part of it, multiple targets, different things. But it's also not. It's also a kind of a game too. So there's different rules or different not rules, but a different process to it than in self-defense situations. What I'm learning from my experience.
Well, that's what he says. He stopped doing IDPA because there's rules, and in real life, there's no rules.
Right.
The rule is stay alive.
Well, that's it.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm learning from other people. I think it's not too bad to mix it, but
You get John from Chicago on. He said it takes exception to the suggestion that you can't carry full-size concealed.
Okay.
Good.
Sounds good.
Good for him.
Eric
I'm trying
Callis
to figure out how to
apparently.
carry it. 'Cause I
As a bad guy, I take exception as well because I got places to hide things that you won't even think of.
That's right.
maybe you don't need to know about that.
I carry
Remember-
forward, and you people don't know it.
Remember
Right.
when Eric Callis was here? He had two.
45.
He had two
Right.
full-size
45,
45s. I was
How
like,
do you,
holy
where
shit,
do you
dude.
carry yours full size?
Hmm?
How do you carry your full size?
He's got a Galco King Tuck.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I was here last week, I was totally looking for it.
You didn't see it, did you?
Not once.
No, you don't see it. And I'm wearing a shirt that hangs out, but I can wear this blouse is you can actually put the shirt with it. The way this holster is made, the part that goes over for the belt is separate from the holster. There's a space in between, and you tuck your shirt in between, so you can actually wear it just with a shirt, and it's hidden.
He demoed some of them in class today. And they actually work really well.
Yeah, they're really nice. Galco makes it.
Good to know.
It's a really, really nice holster.
I actually forgot my gun
You
to class today. I have it right now, but so I didn't get to show them the sticky.
Well, and when I showed them holsters, I asked if you did the persons with sticky holster, and they go,
No, I didn't. I didn't.
we got 2 calls. This is always
Wow.
a touchy subject. That's good. We'll take the calls before we'll go
It's a
to
$10
you
surcharge.
Huh?
$10 surcharge per call.
Stand by.
There you go. Stand by. Yeah. So as soon as you're on.
On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
If you love great Indian cuisine, then you must experience Gaylord Fine Indian Cuisine in Schaumburg. Gaylord is so good, Gretchen and David eat there before the show.
Okay. for some reason, your mic's not on.
Oh.
Do
Well, that's
you know
not-
what's wrong, George?
George is trying to figure it
Well,
out.
we're having fun
I
tonight,
can
aren't we?
hear it crackle.
We're why don't you just grab the next mic?
Okay.
We're doing experimental work this evening, George. Don't panic. It's okay. It's all right. We're experimenting with our large staff now.
Yes.
If you can't hear yourself, no one else can hear you either.
There you go.
All right.
And
Fair
for this we pay George. Okay. Now you can hear yourself.
Try again.
enough. All right.
Have at it.
If you love great Indian cuisine, then you must experience Gaylord Fine Indian Cuisine in Schaumburg. Gaylord is so good that Gretchen and David eat there before the show. For over 38 years, 18 in Schaumburg, Gaylord has served an extensive menu of fine Indian cuisine. Signature dishes include tandoori jhinga, jumbo prawns, chicken tikka masala, and the tangy and hot South Indian specialty lamb vindaloo. All dishes are prepared using only quality fresh ingredients, including the elaborate $12.95 lunch buffet that's cooked that morning. Manager Darren Dabrio invites you to come early when they open at 11:30 weekdays and noon on weekends to see the freshness for yourself. We recommend you skip breakfast and save your appetite. Gaylord can accommodate business meetings or events for up to 60 people. Gaylord Fine Indian Cuisine is on Mall Drive just south of Woodfield Mall. Call 847-619-3300 or visit gaylordil.com. Gaylord Fine Indian Cuisine is the Mercedes of fine Indian dining. 847-619-3300.
And that is intern guy.
Brian.
Brian is at Northern, right?
Yes, sir.
And yet this is what you're studying.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
it.
communications.
There you go. So that's it. This is an equal opportunity employer.
We're so nice.
We're so well. Let's not use the term employer. They'll think they're getting paid.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to do
You are not an employer in this case.
Yeah, that's right. We're an equal opportunity. What, George? Purveyor of wonderful show.
It's
There-
what we call in the country. Y'all come now.
There you go.
Y'all come now.
All right. We got an interesting comment from John from Chicago. John is talking. He takes exception to the issue of carrying full, right, John? I do. And that's exactly right. And so I'll stick in a shameless plug. I exclusively use Galco holsters, and Galco has like a deep concealed holster for a full size gun. I carry a full size Glock, and it goes under your shirt, and it's really good. Brian, you were in class today. You said that you couldn't see it, right?
Yeah, it was actually pretty impressive. I mean, it's this full-size standard Glock, and we turned around, did a few movements, and you couldn't even see a print.
Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Johnny. You can carry a full size gun, and people won't know it. Cool. Yep. Sure. John, appreciate your call. Thank you very much. And we also have Jim is on the line. Jim from Downers Grove. Something about anchor. Go ahead, Jim. What's your comment? Well, I agree with the first part, Jim, completely. Well, actually, I agree with both parts. initially, you're absolutely right. There's no fair fight. Okay, if somebody comes in with an AK-47 and I can hide in the closet and shoot him from behind, you know what? My daddy might have raised an ugly kid, but not a stupid one. Now, and I'm sure Ronkowski is listening. I'm
We
sure
hope so.
Ronkowski is listening.
We pray to God he's
And,
listening.
and maybe he'll give us a call. But once, I mean, in the state of Illinois, and you know what? Here's the thing. This is a blurry line. Is this a war, or is this a civil?
Right. It's unclear at this point.
Exactly. It is not clear. But I'm going to word this for Ed, and he'll probably call. Once the threat with the guy has ended, I mean, that ends it. You can't execute somebody on the floor. But this is murky because is this a war? I don't know. I'm sure Ed will give us a call. If
Right.
he's not out
So, you
fishing
know,
or something.
our civil rules of society don't really apply if we're fighting a war.
Well, I agree.
You know, if we're in a street-to-street war
Yeah.
in our towns. So, yeah, it is a little murky.
But we, and we're going to do, we have a new thing we call segment 6, which we will video it after the show, and it will be up, what, in about 24 hours?
Yeah. Move on.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about some of these things about how to deal with it, like when you go to movies and that kind of thing. We're going to talk about that. But
And getting some training. We're going to talk about getting some training.
yeah, but yeah, it's a good point. You don't fight fair. I'm not going to step out in the hallway and go fill your hand with steel. You know, I mean, that's not going to happen. If I can cap him from behind, I'm good. I don't have a problem with
Right,
that. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's one tactical advantage that people like me have is, and I've said this, I say this to members of my family and people who are close to me on a regular basis. Absolutely no one expects me to be carrying a gun.
Yeah.
There is literally not one single person who doesn't know me who is looking at me going, I bet she's carrying a firearm.
You look like a little princess. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Listen to On Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, and go ahead and weigh in on this whole thing. We're talking about ISIS. We also want to get over to talking about
Tennessee.
this, you know, and I don't know, I'm sure Ed would have a comment about this. He must not be listening tonight. He must be off fishing or something or other. But Tennessee has now joined a number of states, and what they're doing is they pass laws that say they will not support any more federal gun control. And they won't go after it, nothing. And here's the reality of any law, federal. Basically, it has to be enforced by local law enforcement. There aren't enough federal agents to
Right.
enforce all these laws.
Yeah,
So-
especially spread out across the country. Federal agents tend to be concentrated in urban areas.
Big cities, exactly.
Yeah,
Sure.
Washington, D.C., you know, Chicago, New York
Yep.
City, places like that.
So Tennessee has literally, the governor, there's a bill, Senate Bill 1110, and it says it prohibits the state from implementing or enforcing federal gun laws, rules, regulations, or orders that are contrary to the Tennessee state constitution, which has almost nothing about gun control in it. They don't have anything. You can,
No.
as long as you're a legal, law-abiding citizen, you can buy a gun and put it on.
Right.
Now there's
We had a statistic recently that 1 out of every 16 people in Tennessee has concealed carry. They're a pretty high concentration. It's pretty awesome.
is that low of a number? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. And other states have done it too. Montana has a somewhat similar law. Arizona has it. It's you know,
Well, I think they're trying. I think Montana and Arizona are still working on it.
Yeah.
And I think there's like 7 other states that have already done it.
right.
So yeah, it's sweeping the nation, which
People
I love it. It gets me really excited and happy.
people are getting fed up with this president just ruling by fiat. He just bypasses Congress. He doesn't get what he wants. And so the states are beginning to look at, you know what? We're just not going to enforce it, period.
Mhm.
And what are they going to do about that?
Right. There's literally nothing they can do.
So, you know,
Unless they're willing to send agents out and enforce those laws themselves, there's literally nothing they can do.
That's
I also give props to Jan Brewer because she, and not with gun control, but with immigration, you know, she said, you know what, Arizona, we're done waiting for the federal government to do what they should be doing. We're going to take matters into our own hands. We're going to enforce immigration laws ourselves. So kind of the other side of that same coin, choosing to enforce, you know, laws that should be enforced by the feds.
well, you know, we're almost out of time. We got to go.
We are.
We're going to be back with more on Target Radio after a few messages, and you're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
The music was super soft.
Yeah, I didn't hear it until I looked through the clock. So
I was trying to find the list of states that have already done this. I couldn't find it.
Do you want me to pull it up? See if I can find it?
No, too late.
Topics.
The next
Topics
segment's over.
dead.
tough luck. You lose.
Segment's over.
It's amazing when you visit other states, and like when I was in Missouri, went to the range and all that right there, and like, oh, you're from Illinois? You're lucky you can even have a handgun there. Like, I go, really? I said, I have a bunch of ARs, and I have my handgun even here with me that I got. And I was waiting period, but
Yeah.
You really hit, or this other first caller hit a nail on the head.
Which
with,
one?
hit a nerve, rather.
About what?
With the full-size carry thing.
Oh yeah.
right.
Yeah, Tom here says he's a slight guys who carry full-size carries. He says you don't notice the difference after getting used to it.
That's Tom.
Small back adjustments, stuff like that. And I told him he was first in
Oh,
line.
Ed,
I
did
told him he was
call.
first in line, and 5 seconds later I get, hey, it's Ed from Drummond, Wisconsin.
Ah,
So,
we'll take that. We'll take that,
Last night.
and then we'll get the other guy.
Well,
Where's
yeah,
Tom?
we don't really need a third person.
Shortly thereafter, shots were fired. One of the
So anyway.
police cruisers stolen from the scene.
I've always enjoyed, we talked about this the first time Jeff and I went to
What's that?
class, and I learned something, and he smoked some cigars. It was just the difference in a person's size and how you carry. I've always, whenever I carried, like when I'm in Indiana, basically, I always have a 45 under my shoulder because it's easier to work with it.
Oh,
When
you
it's
work,
not-
work.
I'm out in the woods. I'm
Yeah.
screwed,
Yeah, because your right
but then-
hand.
But then if I go into town, I just leave it like nobody's ever noticed. It's open carry.
So George, what did you think about my opening?
But your opening? Oh, was that you?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was who's really good. I thought that was Orson Welles.
Wow.
Did you bring your boots?
Kind of looks like Orson Welles.
Yeah, right. Because it's getting deep in here.
Yeah, I was gonna say ready for all the shit. Yeah.
So it was that bad, huh?
Oh,
You just need to practice.
Practice.
pretend you're talking to your best friend. Pretend you're trying to sell your best friend whatever you're reading.
Yeah, I know I need practice on it. So
I
The
don't
only way you can
It's-
practice is doing it.
you can do it at home, like, all day long. But then it's when you're here and you're like, other people are like this.
Pressure's on, bro.
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
It's
See, I don't think about anything outside of this room. I do not allow myself.
First
to
of
think
all,
That's what I
Dave,
tried to do.
you
Block
of all
everything else
people
out,
should
just
know
focus on wording.
it's
Yeah.
easier to read at speed when it is capitals and lowercase.
Yeah.
Well,
As
see,
opposed
that's
to all
we
caps.
do
That's why
that.
they do road signs
But
in
if you
capitals.
look, if
and
you look at the
lowercase.
copy, if you look at his copy, it is all caps.
Oh.
I do all caps.
I know, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
harder.
It's easier to read when it's not
literally
all
harder
caps.
to read.
That's why they do
Seriously?
interstate signs are done in capital and then lowercase.
I find it
Yeah.
easy.
Scientifically
Because you
studied.
recognize the shape.
Scientifically
No, you do.
studied.
You recognize the shape of the word. You're not reading the individual letters, and when it's all capitals, you're not used to that. Unless you're on Facebook all the time, in which case you're absolutely used to it. Because
If
every
people are all
idiot on
caps.
Facebook is all caps.
Yeah, I don't. I
I've
don't.
been doing it.
Stuff that
I don't have
do
friends who type
untargeted
that way. Because if
Right.
they did, I would unfriend them.
I've been doing that since I first started doing
Tonight,
voiceover in
David
the
and
early
Gretchen will be
90s.
talking about ISIS right here in Chicago.
Yeah, whenever I have to do the show prep, I do upper and lowercase. 'Cause it's easier to read.
Fine, excoriate.
I got ISIS in my house. Every time my mother-in-law cooks some Filipino food, it gasses me and I gotta run. Go in my garage and put on my asbestos respirators
Oh, God.
so I can live.
Thank you for that picture.
Yeah.
What? No, the smell of the food cooking gasses me. I don't eat it. It gasses the house. It's a nerve agent. You see, they eat nerve agent in the Philippines. Yes. Nerve agent comes in little jars that says shrimp paste and fish paste, but it's nerve agent.
I was at the Avengers the other day,
Yeah.
and my friend pulled up the Wi-Fi. You see the first one?
What is it?
I'm like, that's really clever. Somebody's really, really clever.
Nice. You know what my friend does with his Wi-Fi name? He'll put like something like his neighbor's dogs bark. It's like shut up those loud dogs or something like that. He'll write different messages for it.
Oh, yeah.
My Wi-Fi network has been Atlas is shrugging for like the last 9 years. Some of my neighbors like,
Did they finally come
you
out
know
with
which
that?
network's yours. It's like, no, you don't.
She's 15
I said,
years old.
yes,
She
we
has a cancerous tumor in her mouth, and she cut 3 mice.
45
Oh
seconds.
wow.
45 seconds. Here we
I was
go.
gonna show you mine. I got my cat.
She's so frisky, even though she's so sick.
That's not him, it looks like that. Watch.
Yeah.
Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try out this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-616-5339. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-616-5339. That's 1-800-616-5339.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues.
And we're back with more on Target Radio. And as I prognosticated, Ronkowski is probably calling from a kayak right now. Are you in a kayak, Ed? There you go. So you're going to weigh in on shooting a terrorist in the head once he's down. So here's a serious question. I think of a whole bunch of jokes I could make out of this. But here's a serious question. Is this not a war? I mean, what are they going to do? Try these guys in civil court if they survive? You'll probably give them voting status. Yeah, that isn't going to happen. Yeah,
Those days are gone.
Yeah, well, and pretty much anything to do with the Constitution is no longer valid, so it is what it is. Ed, I knew you'd call. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks, Ed.
Have a good one. And we also have Tom in Frankfurt has talking about full-size, carrying full-size. What you got to say?
Hi, Tom.
So are you carrying it in the middle of your back? Because I'll say one word of caution, and we gotta go. But I used to carry a Walther PPK in the middle of my back in an Uncle Mike soft-sided holster. And then I read an article about other cops who had done that and gotten into a fight and got slammed into concrete and broke their spine. All right, Tom. I appreciate the thought. Thank you very much for giving the call. All right, thank you. Have a good evening. We're going to have to go in about a minute here, but I do want to point out that the appeals court ruled that the NSA phone data collection is unlawful.
Yes.
They're not allowed to do that.
There's a section of the Patriot Act that they've been saying allows them to do it, and 2 judges now have said, no, actually it doesn't.
So they have weighed in and specifically said you can't do that, and then they're letting them do it anyway.
Well, right. It's almost set to expire on June 1st. So they basically said, well, we're not going to really worry about it until Congress figures out what they're going to do about it anyway, because it's almost going to expire.
Yeah, and the Congress is now talking about passing an addendum to the law
Yeah,
that make it legal.
They want to write it so that it's legal.
And, like they don't know enough about us as it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to admit that when, because George Bush was president, I thought that the Patriot Act was probably a good thing at the time, but now that I've learned more about it, I've come to realize, no, not so much.
It's not such a good thing. What next? Cameras that watch where your cars go? Oh wait,
we have that.
All right, we're gonna come back. When we come back, we're gonna talk about government run amok. It's not new. We'll be back with more on Target Radio and talking about that and a lot of other stuff. You're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Hey David, on this on our promo here, can I? Is it okay if I change a little bit of the wording of my reader, just so it flows better out of my mouth?
Yep.
We've got the answer.
Be my guest.
Don't ask him to do it; he won't even know.
He mostly doesn't even care. So you're going to come back with Louis.
Yeah, there is sort of a quid pro on that. You think to yourself, like
On what?
Louis? No. On shooting a guy in the head, because if you say, well, he was already dead, then there's no reason to shoot him in the head. If you thought he was alive, then it's murder.
I'm going to cap his ass.
I think so. I'm just going to look for cameras and shoot the cameras.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot the camera, then shoot the
Sacrifice the camera. We having fun, Brian?
Yeah, that was actually really cool.
And Rick is like unflappable.
You like my?
He's just
you
like
my,
treading water. He just sits there.
My
He doesn't-
blah 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 faces for the camera.
Yeah, I was following that. Well, when the guy said he did
I
kung
just go
fu,
on and on and on. I'm like,
Martial arts.
yeah, when he said he did martial arts, I looked over
my
at.
phone.
Oh,
Going. I mean, you let him talk for like 4 minutes. I'm like, WTF?
I was out yesterday with my friend who's
I'm a nice guy.
martial arts.
You're too nice. You're too
I don't know what do you call him? Master? Sensei? I said I was out yesterday shooting with my friend that was like a sensei. He's been doing martial arts for over 40 years.
Oh.
Yeah, he had his own dojo or whatever. Pretty interesting guy. He does a lot of self-defense training though.
All these terms that I took, I really liked Hapkido. I went to a martial arts place years ago and I said, look, I work as a cop. My 2 choices are shoot and kill somebody or get beat up. I want something in between those 2. And he goes, you want Hapkido. And I liked it. But he taught Hapkido with Taekwondo,
Oh wow.
which is like taking dance lessons. I hated it.
Ironically, he teaches dance also. He
See?
does now.
There you go. There you go.
Pretty cool guy though.
A major reason for insomnia is the Blue Card. It's a shopping and loyalty card, and it's free. That's right, free. No charge, nada. Next, you can receive up to 5% cash back on purchases. Most cards only offer 2% at most. No wonder girls can't sleep. With the Blue Card, you can also get shopping points that you can use for online purchases. So it's cash back and shopping points. Am I giving you away? If you refer the Blue Card to someone, you can even earn money on their purchases. No, I'm serious. It's true. But it gets better. If you share the Blue Card with a merchant, you can earn on the purchases of everyone who uses the Blue Card at their store, too. There's no way you're going to get any sleep until you get your own free Blue Card. So
Oh, my phone says we have no Wi-Fi. My phone's getting no service.
Trust easy again. Call 800
Your mom texting you?
I don't know. I'm not getting any service.
I was just joking around.
On Target Radio.
She probably would. But
The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen. A more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
talking about from the files of government out of control. If you think our government is out of control today, if you're young and you weren't around during the 60s, here's an interesting little factoid. That song, Louie Louie, or Louie Louie, is the lyrics are so garbled that you can't tell what they're saying. Now, it came out in 1964, was on radio for about a week and got pulled because a bunch of mothers and families in general were going, my child is listening to obscenity on the radio.
Moms demand action.
Moms demand action, right. So they pull it, and the FBI gets wind of this, okay? Now listen, this is not an exaggeration. They had 100 agents. It was the FBI, Justice Department, and the Federal Communications Commission in a joint task force for 2 years with 100 people working on it to try and find obscenity in the song Louie Louie. Now the funniest part about this, and they never did, they couldn't find anything. But there's 2 really funny footnotes to this. The first funny footnote is the Department of Copyrights or whatever, they had the
Library
words.
of Congress.
They had the words. They were available. All they had to do was go and check them out. They were already available. So 100 people, 3 agencies tied up for 2 years when they could have gone to the Library
They
of
could have
Congress.
sent somebody to
Yeah.
the Copyright Office in the Library.
Exactly. And then here's the next part. To me, this is the best part. They're so busy listening to all these lyrics. They played it backwards, forward, slow, fast. At 54 seconds into the song, the drummer drops a drumstick and yells out the F word. And you can hear him faintly in the backward saying this, and they never caught that. They never heard him say that because they were so busy analyzing the
They were
actual
looking at the
lyrics.
lyrics.
Yeah. So if you think government is out of
Actually, is a
control,
profanity not what they were looking for?
exactly. If you think government is out of control is new, it's not new. Now, just a quick update. You're listening to On Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Quick update. We talked about that family a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
Probably.
probably a month or so, yeah.
Where the Arkansas, they came in and just took their kids from them. Literally. Didn't give them a reason. They were being homeschooled. And they came in, they took the kids, and they said, okay, you're going to get them back in 10 days. And then they go, well, we've got to postpone. And this dragged on for months. Literally months. And they had no knowledge of why they took the kids from them. It was the Garland County Sheriff's Department. In the end, they searched their house. They didn't find anything illegal in the house. They went through all this stuff. They have returned the kids. So now the kids are finally back at home. But here's the interesting thing. They have federal agents show up every day, unannounced. They just walk in and they hang around for hours, quote, to observe and seek to counsel the family who didn't ask for this.
Right.
Okay, they're forcing the oldest kid to go to public school against
The three oldest.
the 3 oldest. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
3, forcing them to go to public schools against the will of the parents. And the woman is pregnant, and they literally told she had a midwife to deliver the kid. She's getting very close to delivering, and they told the midwife to stay away from the Stanleys, to not go there. So now they've lost the midwife.
Right.
To
Now
have
they
their
have
kid.
no one to
Now they have
deliver their baby.
This is government.
And there's another one. A psychologist must visit their home for 20
I forgot.
hours a week
I
for
forgot.
the next 6 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
That's so much.
Can you even imagine this? Give us a
And,
call.
and the government's probably paying for it, so everyone in
No.
Arkansas
We're
is,
paying. We're paying.
well, everyone in Arkansas is paying
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Oh, right,
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Not us.
In Illinois, we have plenty of money left over. We should send
Oh
some.
yeah, no, I'm sure DCFS has plenty of ways to spend our money. I could tell you horror stories about DCFS in Illinois.
I don't know. It's weird. Government in general is just, which is why I'm so happy to see about how some states are beginning to say, you know what, enough's enough.
Absolutely.
I
And
wonder-
there's actually a lot of precedent for that. The Supreme Court has said that's actually a valid course of action
Right.
for the state to do.
I wonder when
So,
Illinois
I
will
think
do it.
that's great. Probably either right before or right after California, I'm guessing.
That's probably true.
I was describing to the students today how I said, technically every state in the country has concealed carry, but some states like California and New Jersey effectively don't have it. And because of the way that they execute it, it's kind of a joke, actually.
Yeah, well, if you're very famous or and you're politically connected.
Mhm.
I've said this a couple times on the show over the past year. If you really want to have a good laugh, look at the application for New York City to have a concealed firearm. It's, I forget, 20 some pages long.
That's what she said.
And you have to actually show them originals of your bank, your checking account statements
God.
for a year, your original social security card. And they got this long list of stuff. I mean, fundamentally, you can't get concealed carry
Right.
unless you're somebody's buddy.
Right, and actually a couple of judges in California, California is done county by county. So it's actually issued or approved by the county sheriff's department. And there are a number of counties that they haven't issued a license
Right.
basically ever. And so a couple of courts in California have actually said, you have to revise your policy because you effectively don't have concealed carry. And basically, some of the recent decisions have said concealed carry is constitutional.
We shall see what we shall see. We're going to be back with more on Target Radio after a few messages and wrap all this stuff up, and we'll do Gretchen's action items and a little bit more, a few odds and ends. You're listening to AM560 The Answer. Okay, so we come back. You got a chunk, right? So when we come back, we'll go immediately to you. As soon as she's done,
So this time you didn't say anything on the show.
I try to be flexible.
So when she's done, is she gonna do any of a segue to me?
There's
Or
a
just,
certain unpredictability
she's
about
done
the old
talking.
man. No one's ever said that.
what's my
That's
cue?
probably a good. When I was working as an actor, I one time asked a director, "What's my motivation to say that?" And his answer was, "We're paying you." So when she's done,
Did it work?
yeah, because the threat of money, yeah, it does. How do you end? What's the last thing you got?
The classes, like always.
Classes, okay.
I always end with paper USA classes.
He has a good question. How do we segue from
Make it
that
flow.
to?
Yeah, no,
It's
I mean,
radio. You can point at him and no one will notice.
True, but it would be nice if it blended somehow.
well, a lot of times Dave does jump in. So no, it's a completely valid question. Is are you going to jump in after I'm done, or is he going to jump in after I'm done?
1 minute.
Well, we got 60 seconds to figure it out. This is the beauty of live radio.
It's not really a hard question.
No,
Be ready once she starts talking about her classes, and then when she's done, she'll point to you.
yeah, I was just looking to see if there was a segue, but that's what I'll do.
Make
Just
it
when she's
interesting.
done.
A few of my friends just tuned in.
When she's done, just come in. Hi, I'm ready.
Point at me, I guess.
It's all experimental, see, Zach. It's all
Oh,
experimental.
I know. It's fun. Do whatever you want with it, right?
If you're behind on that goal, you really need to leave.
Supposedly, Yankler will be in the building at some point. We'll find out.
That would be good.
What? I didn't hear. What did you say?
Gangler's supposed to be here tonight.
Well, that's just novel.
Yeah. He's just got a live sports show, that's all.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your.
And we're back with more on Target Radio, and now is that magic moment that you wait for every week, telling you what you can do in the upcoming week.
This year's Clyde Hull NRA Youth Shooting Sports Camp will be June 26th to 28th at the ISRA range in Bonfield. The camp is for young people ages 10 to 16. The fee is just $150, which includes all meals and ammunition. To sign your child up for the Clyde Hull NRA Youth Shooting Sports Camp, go to saferusanfp.org and click on Clyde Hull or use the link on our Facebook page. From the ISRA, getting concealed carry in Illinois was not the end of the road, but a new beginning. The anti-gunners are planning right now how to restrict what and where you can carry with a renewed emphasis on local regulations. ISRA members need to remain vigilant and need the opportunity to meet with their peers for strategy, information sharing, and camaraderie. To meet these needs, ISRA grassroots groups are forming around the state, starting with 3 groups in the Chicago metro area in May. Meetings are intended to be held monthly and will last about 1 hour each. The first 3 meetings will be Deerfield, Wednesday, May 13th, 7 p.m. at Deerfield Italian Kitchen. Hazelcrest, Thursday, May 14th, 7 p.m. American Legion, Post 398 on Page Avenue. Bloomingdale, Roselle, and Schaumburg, Wednesday, May 20th, 7 p.m. at Tony Spavoni's Ristorante. There is no charge to attend, but because these meeting places have limited space, members are asked to RSVP to indicate that they will attend so that we don't overwhelm the hospitality of our hosts. I put the RSVP links on our Facebook page earlier tonight. And Will County has been having these meetings for some time. We meet the third Wednesday of each month at Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood at 7 p.m. The weather is heating up and so is the class schedule. The following Safety USA classes are all at our office in Waterman. Saturday, May 16th, Long Range Rifle, taught by Ed Janka. Also Saturday, May 16th, Tactical Pistol 1 and 2, taught by David. Sunday, May 17th, NRA Basic Pistol, taught by David. Actually, that's full, so scratch that. Saturday, May 23rd, Tactical Rifle 1 and 2, taught by Eric. Saturday and Sunday, May 23rd and 24th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry, as well as Florida, Arizona, and Utah. Actually, I think Ed is joining us for that one as well. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
Hi, I'm Rick Cizak, On Target Radio's social media coordinator, and I would like to invite you to watch On Target Radio's newest feature, Segment 6. Each Sunday night after the show, we record a 6th segment, during which David and Gretchen talk more about the evening's topic. Soon you'll be able to watch it live on Sunday night. But until then, about 24 hours after the show, you'll be able to find the Segment 6 at youtube.com/On Target Radio. For tonight's topic, David and Gretchen will be discussing real-world self-defense tactics.
And that was it.
You're all busy signaling me.
Should have written a better close to that. That just abruptly came up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You guys did a good job. This was a little experiment tonight, and everybody got in, and I think it worked well.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll do that as part of our expanding staff,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have staff. We're excited that we finally have staff.
We have staff. We have nothing else, but we have staff. And Russ Gangler's here, and we don't have time to bring him in, but make sure you listen. Stay after our show. Stay tuned for Living Sports, which I'm never invited on, and she is, and I don't want to even go there. Thank you for listening to On Target Radio, and be sure to listen next week when we'll be covering the red meat issues that affect your life.
We'd also like to thank George Hoffman on the board, our social media coordinator and sales director, Rick Cizak, our intern, Ryan Schmaltz, and our sponsors, DS Arms, Illinois State Rifle Association, Gaylord's Fine Indian Cuisine, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, Stone City Kitchen and Bath Design Center, and Safer USA.
And I think it went really well.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I'd say
thanks,
so.
guys. I appreciate it. Good night, all. And Michael, thank you very much, as always, for making this insanity come true.
See, I kind of rewrote that partially, so it took us
That's fine. It's just it was like no end. It's just, oh, is that it? We got somebody coming in behind us this week, so we got to crash,
You have to pick it up.
drop stuff up here.
All right, stop recording, stop broadcast.
Stop recording, stop broadcasting.